Hello everybody, I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to use pendulums. Now, I am going to first start off by showing you how to use a pendulum to communicate between you and the crystal. Now, pendulums aren't always crystal. Sometimes they come in wood form or in a cut glass form. But what they do is they all hang and they're evenly balanced so that they can swing in different ways. Now, let's say that I want to program. It is good to have specific pendulums programmed for specific needs. So let's say this is my communication crystal, and I get to ask it lots of yes or no questions. So first I have to find out what is my yes and what is my no. So to save time, I am going to be just moving it for you to show you which way. I would simply ask, what is my yes? And let's say my crystal moves back and forth like this. Or it could move back and forth the other way. From right to left, from north to south, or it could spin clockwise, or it could spin counterclockwise. It's going to be different for everyone. And when you're first learning how to use your pendulum, you may want to always ask it at first, what is my yes, what is my no? But the more you use it, the more connection you'll have with it, and you won't even have to ask anymore. And people do this to ask for any reasons whatsoever. Should I go out tonight? Should I make a phone call? Does this person like me? You can get as silly as you want.
Do you have to say it out loud, or do practitioners sometimes just keep it to themselves?
That's a really good point. You can absolutely say it in your head.
So it's not some sort of auto-suggestion to the patient that's not involved, like saying it.
No, and in this part, the client, you're not really involved. I'm not asking for you.
Right.
I'm asking for me.
Got it.
Yes, this first part, even though you're lying here and I'm doing this over you, this is about me talking to my pendulum. I know people who take their pendulums out, and let's say I had a menu. Tony's stomach is a menu. I could hold the pendulum right over, and I would know what my yes or my no is, and it would move and tell me of whether that food item was good for me to eat. So it's very interesting. So that's really the way you use it just on your own. Oh, and one other thing, crystals are great for clearing energy. So let's say you travel a lot and you don't want to bring a sage stick around and turn on all the smoke alarms. Bring a pendulum and just spin it counterclockwise around the room. And then go around and spin it clockwise. And that's going to help to clear all the energy in your environment. And it doesn't have to be in a hotel room. It can, of course, be in your own home as well. All right. So now with Tony, the way that we would use this on a person is, number one, is let's say we were doing a chakra balance and clearing. And there's another video that shows you how to do that. But let's say there was one area that was really giving Tony some trouble, so I really wanted to get in there. What I would do is hold the crystal over. Right now I'm holding it over the solar plex, and it automatically started to move counterclockwise, which means the crystal instinctually knew that this area needed to be cleansed. And I will say I'm using the citrine pendulum right now, which I always use for chakra clearing and balancing. So this crystal already knows what to do. And then it'll start slowing down after it feels like it's cleared, and it will start moving the other way. It will start balancing and going clockwise, which is, as you can see, is what it's doing right here. And you just take your time and you let it spin as long as it needs to. And when it's done, it'll just stop spinning. And it's just going, going. Could be going for a while, so for the sake of this video, I will let it stop. But Tony, are you feeling anything?
That just felt very, I don't know, something happened. I don't know what it was. Felt a lot of energy for that one.
Like movement?
Yeah, like change. It's hard to identify.
Okay, and not everything needs to be identified, but he felt a shift, and that's what's really important. And using pendulums over the different chakra centers are extremely powerful and beneficial. Now, there are lots of different crystals you can use. For instance, we have an amethyst. Amethyst is primarily associated with your third eye chakra. So I could bring that up to here, over his third eye chakra. And look, you see, it automatically started spinning clockwise. So showing me that that center was already in balance, and this is just adding a little bit of a powerful boost to it. Let's say that you have a friend who's going through a bit of a heartache. You may want to take a rose quartz crystal and just let it spin over their hearts, which is a really lovely, lovely thing to do. And I have to say, most people respond very positively to rose quartz pendulums and crystals because they generate love. Tony had a very nice smile that just came up on his face. Did you feel anything?
That was wind.
Yeah,
okay. No, I did. I felt a, even though I don't feel like I have heartache at the moment, it just felt very expansive in the heart. It was nice.
Yeah, because the crystal didn't go counterclockwise, so it showed that you didn't need any cleansing there. But as he said, it gave him a more expansive, sort of opening his heart to love feeling. All right, now another really fantastic thing you can do with pendulums, and I'm going to use the hematite pendulum because hematite is very grounding, is that you can open up what we call our gates, and that is our hands and our feet. And what this is going to do is really make sure that there are no blockages, that the proper energy can flow in and out of your hands and in and out of your feet. So Tony, just raise one of your hands for me. Okay, you can bend your elbow. Right, perfect. And all you do is take the crystal and you spin it back and forth over his fingers. You may want to get in between them, but it's really just spinning it. And you could use any crystal. The hematite is just what I prefer to use for doing this. Were you going to say something?
Oh, it's very intense.
Is it?
Yeah, I can really feel the energy in my hand.
Okay, well, we don't want to leave him lopsided, so remember, if you do one side, always do the other side.
It's very pleasant feeling.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you can do this to yourself, just like this. I do it to myself all the time, every day. Okay, now it's important to do it to the feet as well. So Tony, if you could put your leg up for me. And again, you would do this on both sides, but I'm just going to show you one just so you can see. And again, you just spin it. And you have a really important point under here. It's the start of your kidney meridian. And it's what soaks up all the earth energy, all the great yin energy from the earth. So it's really nice to spin it under there. And it helps, when you're using the hematite specifically, really helps to ground you.
I love it.
Does this feel different from your hands?
Yeah.
In what way?
honestly can't say.
Okay.
I don't know.
Now let's see a difference, because that's really how you use pendulums. But I just want to bring in a magnet for a second. Now, these are fantastic magnets. You do need to be extremely careful with magnets and test the person to make sure that they're not sensitive to them, which I've already done with Tony, and that is using the general indicator test. What you would do, I'll just show you, is
Put my foot down.
for the moment, you would hold the magnet in his field and say hold. And he's holding strong, so it's okay. And if he had gone weak, then we would know that maybe a magnet isn't good for him. Now magnets, you want to be very careful with, because the north side pulls energy out, so it's really good to, let's say Tony had a pain in his arm, we would hold the north side over that area where there's pain, and it would help to draw it out. Now the south side has many different purposes, but unless you have been trained in magnets, I really suggest that you don't use the south side, because the south side disperses energy. So you never ever want to use it over any kind of a tumor. And of course, if Tony had a pacemaker or any kind of medical device, you're not going to use a magnet either. But now we're going to get to the good stuff. Magnets are really powerful to open up your gates. So let's see if Tony feels a difference between the magnet and the crystal pendulum we just used. So now we're just doing the same thing, spinning it. Do you feel any difference?
It's equally interesting, but it is different. It's sort of slower and like coppery. I don't know, orangey coppery.
Interesting, like it's bringing images to your head is what you're saying.
Yeah.
That can happen, and that's very good stuff. Now lift your foot up for me. And this is just wonderful to do on the feet. And you want to make sure you get all around the feet and down by that K1 point to make sure that he's grounded. And that's just a wonderful way to use magnets, spinning magnets, and pendulums. So I hope you enjoy them, use them well and with good intention. Remember to always cleanse them and enjoy.
Will you balance me afterwards on this side for the foot?
Oh yes, if you want to put that up now, we can show everybody. Because you see, did you feel a difference? Is that why you're asking me to do that?
Yeah, it feels lopsided.
You see, it's very interesting. These are very, very simple but very powerful techniques.
It seems crazy that we ignore those energies because they're so powerful
Yep.
in our body.
And how long does this take? A minute. You know, a minute in the morning or in the evening, just to clear out your gates and to make sure that your energy is really open and flowing, you know, because you don't want energy stuck inside of you. Energy needs space to move. It likes to be able to flow in and out, and that's what helps to bring balance and health and vitality to your life.
It feels like energy hygiene.
That is very good, friend. Yes, it is called energy hygiene. And there's actually a whole protocol we have in energy medicine called energy hygiene. And I'll show you how to do that, and I will show all of you how to do that in a future video. So stay tuned and enjoy your pendulums and your magnets. Thank you.